Hello, everybody. My name is Mahael Abdul-Qawi. I'm the founder and representative of the Accountability Party for Human Rights, a political vanguard organization comprised of individuals who have chosen a path of self-awareness and self-understanding to become something more for themselves, for their loved ones, family, and friends, and then enlarge their communities around them. In this video, I would like to discuss, it's more of a continuation of what I talked about in my previous video. I want to highlight the reaction slash response that is currently happening in the West to what is now a war going on between the Ukraine and Russia. After almost a week ago now, Vladimir Putin, he sent Russian troops into the Ukraine and officially starting what is now I guess a mini war, a battle. You know, you could debate that, I guess, after the fact. But the reason why I want to focus on the reaction and the response from the West is because I'm not from the Ukraine. I'm not from Russia. I can't speak on it. I have no personal stake involved. I am an American citizen. So the only aspect that I can speak on as a human, I stand with those who are being targeted against, especially when their lives are aligned, especially when the motive for killing them is prideful for the sake of one person, when it doesn't represent a collective consciousness. He's not doing it for the collective of Russia. Putin is speaking for his own pride. So as a human, inshallah, things improve for Ukraine. Inshallah, the EU, the European Union, steps up and accepts Ukraine into the Union. So that way, the Ukraine can have the backing militarily and economically, get a boost in their economy because they are a poor nation. So I can only hope, as somebody that can't do much as an American citizen, that's not pandering, that's not creating some sympathy case. The only thing I can hope is that I can speak up, and many more Americans should speak up and direct their American privilege to the European Union and accept the Ukraine and protect them from Russia's onslaught. That is the best that we as Americans can do. But as an American, what I can speak on, though, is the response here in America. And the response here in America is very hypocritical. The response here in America, for us, and even for the major powers in Europe to speak on Putin's action as if he is this revolutionary in imperialism, as if Britain, the UK, centuries ago was not traveling the world and the most technological advanced Navy fleet seen in human history. They were scouring the world, just taking over everything, gathering spices and gold. In America, we still to this day do imperialism. So for us to even have a comment is very hypocritical. But what really bothers me is this painting Putin as the sole bad guy, as if we're not the bad guy. And I know, as somebody that has a friend who is Ukrainian, and after seeing the response from a lot of Ukrainians who live in America, I understand why they personally would have personal vindictive anger and hatred towards Putin personally, where those emotions, because those personal emotions, those personal stakes that are directly directed to those overseas, that's an understanding to be blinded in their rage, because again they have a direct link. But they represent a small group of Americans. Most Americans have no direct link to Ukraine or Russia. Besides, the only link that we have is being raised in a society that has constantly portrayed Russia as this enemy. That's our only link. Some imagination, some imaginary villain. Russia has never been a threat. If anything, if you look at history, besides a clash over ideologies, Russia has always been an ally with us when it mattered the most. If nobody wants to bring it up, what's worse, communism or Nazism? We have to decide, right? Because either they're both bad when it's convenient, or we have one be on our side when it's convenient. But we can't have our cake and eat it too. And somebody has to, plenty are starting to call it out for what it is. And I'm glad those with a much bigger platform than what I have are saying it, because it needs to be spoken on. No, by trying to spread the awareness that it's more than Putin, it doesn't take away from the fact that what Putin is doing is very bad. It doesn't take away from the fact that should there be a clash against what he is doing, should people stand up against what he's doing? Absolutely. But should it be America? Fuck no. Why? Because for one, it's none of our goddamn business. Two, we made it our business not just this past month, but for the past several decades. And three, we started this. Yes, we started this by poking the bear several fucking times, whether it's through economics, whether it's through making sure most of Europe is afraid to do serious business with you, so most of the union can only do half-ass business. You push them to do business with your real enemy, which is what's not being talked about, which is China. You push them to side with them instead of getting over this petty ideology war over communism. Yo, post-World War II, imagine the United States and Russia, or the Soviet Union at the time, became strong allies, regardless of the communism bullshit, and was just like, okay, hey, we have two different beliefs, but guess what? We just teamed up and kicked some Nazi and Japanese imperialist ass. Let's keep thriving. But no, it had to be petty. It had to be an ego thing. We chose violence. We had to live by violence. We had to live by ego. And this is where you start to see this American ego start to really kick in. This American, and it wasn't really concrete until Reagan came in and called it its official name, trickle-down economics. But this started, this mentality, it came from this pride that came from beating Hitler. And yes, it goes that far deep and all, because again, when it comes down to America and Russia, it is a going back to World War II kind of discussion, because this is all what it is. It's the dumbest family feud, because at the end of the day, it's all like a family feud, because they're all villains really at the end of the day. America, China, Russia, they're all bad guys, because you know who loses? The working class people of Ukraine, the working class people of Russia, the working class people of the European Union. the working class people of China, the working class people in every country in Africa that is just there, that's going to feel the repercussions of what's going on Europe, and from the East in Asia, and then from the West in America. They're just going to be there. And then you know who's going to suffer in our own special way, which I've talked about and will always talk about, because again, this is what relates to me. But the working class people here in America, we are the ones that suffer, because these are just squabbles between elites. This has nothing to do with us. This really has nothing to do with us at the end of the fucking day. These people do not care for us. And they need to know that we know that. And that is it is important that we are aware. And again, we can have solidarity with those who are being oppressed, who are being targeted, who are being slain, because loss of human life is a tragedy, no matter your race, your religion, your sex, no matter what. Human life is precious. The cycle of human life is precious. And it should naturally happen. It shouldn't be taken away, especially when the intentions are greed. But we have to look at the reasons why these motives, these greedy intentions are happening. And to understand why these motives are happening, you're going to see that it's not just one bad guy. It's not one villain. It's several. And you have to look at how each of these villains are playing a part, because it's crucial if we are going to survive. Now, again, for those who are being personally directed by what's going on, Ukrainian Americans, or those who have moved here from there, let them express their rage, because they are the ones that need to express the rage. They are the ones being directly affected. But for people who are fucking Americans, mind your goddamn business and fucking start fighting another way. Start fighting your government, so that way your government doesn't do this to other people. Let's not forget what we're doing to Afghanistan. All right? Because inshallah, we can show the same solidarity to them, and we can step up about it.